I'm proud to Without further ado, I'm proud to introduce our speaker, Samantha Mulford. Welcome, Samantha. Samantha is the micro-credential product specialist for PMI. She holds a dual master degree in education and instructional technology and is passionate about developing e-learning experiences for PMI members. Samantha is an innovative global security education management consultant and professional development specialist in quality e-learning programs and curriculum development. We like to welcome Samantha Mulford.
Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me. I really feel like it's, a wonderful privilege as always to be able to present what PMI is doing that's new, that members can gain so much value from. So I was really excited at the last minute to be able to present. So I'm really eager to be able to share with you what these new micro-credentials look like and how you can experience them and upskill. But I know everybody's really keen to listen to everything what we have to do with citizen developers. So I'm going to dive right into citizen developer initially, and then kind of get into a little bit of the detail behind why we're developing micro-credentials and why we're involved in the citizen development movement. And then I'll discuss another micro-credential that I was very closely associated with helping to launch, which was Agile Hybrid Project Pro. So I'm excited to hear some of your views. If you've already participated in some of the beta micro-credential launches, because it's been a growing and learning experience for us all, but there's a lot of good feedback that we're getting in response to these micro-credentials. So as you know, PMI is on a mission, and as the leader in project management, our goal is to empower people to make ideas a reality. As part of our PMI 4.0 growth strategy, we need to address the needs of our community and welcome a new audience of global change makers. As you know, our community is very strong, and together we're looking forward to shape the future. If you've been involved in some of the wonderful virtual events that we've hosted this year, some amazing speakers, next generation, just inspiring. So we're definitely on that mission, and we're definitely here to be global change makers. We're looking to empower people and make their ideas a reality. It's kind of part of really why that citizen development movement is so important, the aspiration of expanded, goals and the views. And we, as the broader PMI community, volunteers, chapters, and the board, aim to bring those aspirations to life for these change makers of all ages. I am just going to change my display settings a little bit so I can hide some of this. Oops, sorry, let me go back. So as a result of the transformation in technology, the abstraction is making it easier for us to achieve complex outcomes. I'm sure we're all familiar with waterfall. Again, this is, a concept that we're very familiar with, but it's progressively needing to be updated. And now we're moving into Agile. Again, I'll talk a little bit about the Agile Hybrid Project Pro micro-credential later, but incremental, iterative, flexible, predictive. We're moving into a very different point now where with hyper agile, everything's more accelerated, it's devolved, it's empowered. And that again is part of that whole citizen development movement, in that it's disruptive, which sometimes makes people very concerned, but it's transformative, and it helps organizations move faster and create better applications. But the technology abstraction is obviously rapidly moving, and it's very difficult to keep up. And sometimes some people, like I said, it's very intimidating. It's very disruptive. We like what we know. We want to stay there. But in the world of digital transformation and the way IT is moving, there's that rapid transformation that's happening. So low code and no code is a really, really good way to start to move. And again, in the citizen development movement. Just some facts. In the next 5 years, Microsoft predicts that of the 500 million apps that are built, 450 million apps will be built using low code, no code. Again, a reason why we need to be involved in citizen development. 4 times active citizen developers will be at least 4 times the number of professional developers at large enterprises by 2023. Some of these sources, again, mostly from Gartner and Forrester, really illustrate that need. You know, everything's moving so rapidly that we have to like jump in on that movement and understand, you know, the capabilities. But there's deficits. There's a huge deficit in the industry. So we have to make people into citizen developers to be able to move as fast as technology, or at least try to. 81% of companies are using low code, no code, or plan to soon. You probably are using it and sometimes don't realize it. And you're probably a citizen developer already, and you don't realize it because of what is moving and what's transitioning within the industry. So why PMI? Why are we involved in citizen development? Because we're trying to broaden our reach and serve more people by extending our regional operations, the coalition of building with other associations and organizations, and connecting and welcoming change makers of all types. We've got project professionals, the change makers, the project professionals, the youth, the students, the entrepreneurs, and then the entire PMI stakeholder universe. We're all part of that outreach. And of course, PMI as an organization wants to broaden that outreach and be involved and be more connected and empower, you know, our change makers to move forward. So partly, I wanted to discuss that movement change as well before I really dive deep into citizen development to understand, you know, the movement between, or the difference really between micro-credentials and certification. We're also familiar with our PMPs and PGMPs and the whole series of certifications that we've known for a long time. And now everybody's talking about how to upskill. Everybody wants to close the skills gap. And micro-credentials are the answer that we found, and the education's moving towards as well, in closing that gap and providing very easy to achieve specific skills, you know, courses that are e-learning based that help you upskill, gain that knowledge, and gain that competency, you know, and share that competency as well. The micro-credentials are focused on very particular subjects in relatively small, easy to consume, easy to understand modules of e-learning. Again, all on demand. All of our micro-credentials are on demand within the e-learning platform. We have a new LMS that we rolled out this year. And that's where the micro-credentials have really seen, obviously, an increase in engagement, and people are starting to understand where and how to purchase them and obviously upskill. And then you'll see everybody sharing their badge, because that's, again, an achievement that illustrates that you've engaged in that upskilling opportunity with that micro-credential and learned whatever that skill is and acquired that. The beauty of micro-credentials, and again, here's the difference between certification. You do not need PDUs to continue to maintain them. You do not need to renew them. You don't need to apply even to gain the micro-credentials, and they never expire. So again, you can gain PDUs easily by taking micro-credentials, but you can apply them towards your current certifications. But again, not necessary to maintain a micro-credential, just for your other PMI certifications. There's a couple of different websites that you can visit that will help you see the new product updates that we have and the products that we've released. And again, this is just a snapshot. Multiple industries have been involved as far as developing different micro-credentials. We have a built-in environment micro-credential specifically for the construction industry. Some of you may be familiar with Project Management Ready. I'll talk a little bit about Agile Hybrid Project Pro, Discipline Agile. A lot of these are within that certification portfolio, but there's that crossover between micro-credentials. And again, each has their own different criteria. So it's important really to understand what you're looking for and how to gain either a credential or certification. We also have Career Navigator that's part of the PMI profile. If you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend that you do so that you can see where, again, do you want a certification in a certain area, or will a micro-credential give you that skill that you're looking for? And product launches, this is the website page. And there's also a micro-credentials hub page that we're building so that you can go specifically to that page and be able to look through all of those different micro-credentials that are available. But let's do a deep dive into our favorite topic of citizen development. There are currently 3 courses that are available. The Business Architect course is launching in December, and I've been very instrumental in now helping that become a fully fledged launch product. So we're just in the end stage of beta and be able to release that hopefully before Christmas. That's our goal. But the foundation course was released initially, and this provides you with just an overview of what exactly citizen development is. It's a small, easy to consume e-learning course, 90 minutes. There's only 3 modules, again, self-paced. It is the perfect launching place for you to understand the citizen development canvas and help you understand, where and if you would have a low code, no code opportunity to be able to focus on to help transform your organization. It introduces that main concept of citizen development and PMI's role in empowering citizen developers. Again, like I expressed, you can gain PDUs for engaging in micro-credentials. This you will gain 2. You don't have to apply, and there is no exam for the foundation course, but you will gain a certificate at the end. That's the only difference between the series. The foundation course has a certificate. The rest of the micro-credentials will have an achievement badge that you'd be awarded through Credly. Again, I wanted to point out, you don't have to maintain these with PDUs. You can take those PDUs and apply them to your current PMI certifications. The Citizen Developer Practitioner course, I believe, was launched right around May, June time was when we'd engaged in that particular course and launched that. This is for the doers. These are for the people who are practically engaged in citizen development within their organization. They're the people who have found a problem and are looking to solve it through low code, no code. This course is like a 6 to 8 hour course, again, depending on how long you want to spend in going through the modules. It helps provide you with all the tools. There are multiple resources embedded within the course to understand the methods needed to creatively and efficiently create applications using low code, no code. It helps you really understand the role of the practitioner within an organization and how to engage with the stakeholders that would be involved in that change making, low code, no code application that you're looking to develop. You learn how to determine if your problem can be solved using citizen development by brainstorming solutions. So we've created an opportunity that's vendor agnostic. We can share platforms, similar to Microsoft Power Apps, but it's a vendor agnostic tool for you to be able to assess your problem, be able to really use suitability assessments to really understand whether it can be solved with citizen development. And then there's suggested vendor tools that you can use. But we're not trying to influence folks into using one particular tool, but really to identify what it is that you're trying to solve through citizen development. And it also helps you effectively go through brainstorming solutions using round robin, how your teams can collaborate, what you can do, again, to solve, again, the tools that are embedded within the course will be able to, you can download them and use those resources to be able to effectively solve and meet your challenge. You will gain 6 PDUs. And again, in this instance, it would be a micro-credential badging achievement through Credly that would be the award post-examination. So there's a course. And if you're familiar at all with the LMS, the course populates after purchase right within the LMS. You take your course and it lives infinitely after you've completed it in the course library. After the course is complete, your exam populates right there within the LMS on your dashboard, and you can seamlessly take that exam after you've completed the course. It's all connected through the Pearson VUE portal. And again, that's the beauty of the no application. You don't have to schedule an exam. It's a seamless experience that we've created from course to exam, and then the Credly Badge Award upon completion and passing. And the last of the series that we currently have that we're launching in December, the Business Architect course, also a 6 to 8 hour course with the exam at the end. This is for the leaders and collaborators that will be implementing citizen development within the organization. They help develop the frameworks and the methodologies that manage the governance process and oversee the collaboration that goes on between stakeholders, and then embedding in the organizational structures that underpin citizen development. In this course, again, we're just finishing up beta. You would gain 10 PDUs and the micro-credential badge at the end. So I'm going to give just a quick overview about just quick point outs about what's contained within the modules, within the courses. I'm not going to read and deep dive. This is for you to consume after the presentation. But basically the module in the foundation, again, it's an introduction, it's an overview. It gives you an overview of the citizen development canvas and introduces you to Ideation 2.0 and why that's a value proposition, and teaches you the outputs of Ideation 2.0 and the approaches that you can learn and go through. Again, this is all in the brainstorming process of creating that low code, no code application. Practitioner, like I said, more the doers. Think of this role as the doers. They'll be the people that are physically involved in developing the application. They're the ones working with the team, problem solving, collaborating, looking to see how effectively citizen development and this low code application that you're developing will solve the problem that you're looking to solve. And then the last, as I said, the current course that we're just about ready to launch. This is really that fully fledged strategist, the business architect, the person that looks into the organization and sees where citizen development fits and what roles and responsibilities and experience that particular role has. Think of it in terms of a portfolio leader or a product owner to be able to really manage this tool that you're creating and how it fits within your organization model. So why really is citizen development important to project managers? Again, where's that fusion? Where's that link that we have between PMI and citizen development? Why is that giant leap? As a profession, we understand project management is rapidly evolving and obviously becoming more technology enabled. Citizen development's goal, as with all of our micro-credentials, is to upskill project managers to help them develop, deploy, and manage applications and solutions using low code, no code. Project managers are using technology to drive desired project outcomes. And by adding citizen development to the project manager skill set, it will only support their core project management skill and experience. We're all change makers as project managers, and we want to become those that recommend citizen development as a solution because it's going to help. And obviously we need to learn more and we need to dive in more and understand how this technology is changing. I think we're all familiar with, if you've ever created a website, probably I'll date myself, probably about 10 years ago, you had to create the code to actually make it function in certain aspects. You had to manipulate, data and make sure, you're coding in the background to move and manipulate everything to have it appear on your website. Now, website development, you don't even need to be involved in writing the code. You're just manipulating a series of widgets and pull over everything that's already pre-coded to create that website. WordPress would be an example. It makes it simple and easy. Anybody can create a website. So low code, no code is helping people rapidly complete things that before took so much time. Again, we can't stress enough the worldwide shortage of software developers. IT departments around the world, our development team, completely overwhelmed by the stresses and demands of, we need to solve this problem. We need to fix this. IT we're dependent on them, and there aren't enough software developers to go around. So the movement of citizen development helps put that in the hands of the change maker who's trying to solve the problem. It turns us into the developer, but without, with minimal skills. Again, you're using a series of widgets. You don't have to write the code. It helps and helps people to create those applications faster, and again, with a fraction of the cost. Citizen development is also important because it enables the general workforce to create a complex, automated, systematic workflow process, helping build software. And again, low code, no code more recently is helping everybody build something that, again, like I said before, that was so sophisticated. Now it's simplified. I'm not going to get too deep into some of these particular slides, but I'll leave that for you to interpret, but to see and understand how your business will be transformed and benefit from citizen development, within the organization. It drives more efficient process and automated workflow. For IT, it frees up capacity in IT. So those that usually would have been doing it will now just be informed and be part of the process, because IT always needs to be involved, but the change maker, the project manager, would be involved in doing ideally what an IT person would have done. And it's not about just the technology. Technology is merely the ingredient. This is about creating competitiveness, improving the speed of innovation within your business. And with the right tools, the right training, and the right partner support, leaders from all industries and sectors can leverage citizen development and drive the next wave of transformation, building on digital and data revolution. Again, why PMI? Why us? Why do we want to be involved in citizen development? Because we're such a trusted source for best practice and proven methodology for all project professionals. Yes, citizen development is a growing trend, but PMI is involved to provide the framework so that we can allow organizations to apply these methods with confidence. We have over 601,000 members, and 1.6 million certifications, globally. Regionally, globally, throughout the world, we have that power of that many change makers to be able to transform. We're the leading global not-for-profit, world renowned, and we have that heritage of educational empowerment. So that is why PMI has been trusted with creating the citizen development movement and moving it forward, again, with a vendor agnostic framework. And as I shared a little bit of the courses, we're building certifications and learning programs for individuals and enterprises, helping inform and educate and help people gain the skills that are necessary to be involved. And obviously, we have extensive corporate and government relationships, and we're involved a lot with people that are deeply passionate in our global network. Again, I'm not going to dive too deep into the overall view of this. I'll let you review the 7 domains at your leisure, but obviously, from an overarching circular journey, citizen development involves the 7 domains. There's strategy and planning initially, accountability and governance, always, stakeholder management, and remaining customer focused and collaborating and not working within silos. IT rules of engagement, obviously principles and guidelines are always going to be there when you're involved with IT, and you have to have that in mind. You can't eliminate IT, you want to involve them, but you can work more collaboratively with them, and you can help empower that as a citizen developer. Value delivery and tracking, managing KPIs, how things function, how products are performing, both for team and individual performance as well. Technology capability, business capability, and then program execution, that full delivery life cycle. It's very iterative. There's a lot of high velocity sprints, but that's the fun of citizen development. You know, it's moving at such a pace that you're solving problems quickly, and it creates that environment of constant iteration, constant change. It moves in cycles. So how do you become a citizen developer? Where do you start? Well, I would encourage you, if you haven't done so already, to join our community. There's a community page that's even linked through the PMI community. Go on. There's a lot of great articles. There's a lot of great presentations and webinars that have been produced about citizen development. And then I would also encourage you to download the free, yes, I did say free, PMI Citizen Development Handbook, which encompasses all the tools that you would need to learn and know about how to become a citizen developer. It's a great resource. Again, go through the community page to find and download, if you're a member, the Citizen Development Handbook. Again, there's the courses that I did describe, the 3 courses that we have. There's also a goal in mind next year to create more of an instructor-led model for the strategist and the maturity model as we flush out the details of that. We're also looking to collaborate with PMI Picks to be able to create more content, to be able to help people understand the roles that are involved in citizen development so that you can learn a lot more and we can give you a lot more learning opportunities. But I would highly recommend, if you haven't already done so, at least check into the Citizen Development Foundation course to just kickstart the process and look. It's highly accessible. I believe it's $79 cost right now. But those are just some and a taste of what we have within the Citizen Development series. I've got references here. I'm not going to click out and click into those particular references, but I'm sure, you know, again, when you take the time to review the presentation afterwards, those will point you into a direction of learning how other vendors are using citizen development and how it can inspire your journey. There's a lot of information out there right now. And again, we're trying to resource a lot of that and make it available within the community. I'm going to switch gears and take a breath and ask if there are any questions that maybe we would have at this time that are, you know, if you'd hold them for citizen development towards the end. But I'm going to jump and switch gears and talk about the other micro-credential that I had in part of this presentation, Agile Hybrid Project Pro. Again, if some of you have engaged in the beta process, this was a really interesting micro-credential to work on, and it's had a great response. It's, again, an upskilling tool that helps.
Samantha, you are on mute. Samantha.
Is that okay?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, you're welcome. Sorry. I don't know how much I didn't get out, but basically the Agile Hybrid Project Pro micro-credential was created for managers to demonstrate their ability in Agile or hybrid projects, showing that the project manager is currently aligned with the new project management principles. So if you had taken your PMP 1 to 3 years ago, you wouldn't have that Agile piece. This is the companion, as I like to say, the add-on upskilling so that you can demonstrate that Agile and hybrid skill. It's the only hybrid micro-credential that we are aware of that's currently available in the market. And obviously, I think most of us know that project managers spend a majority of their time, at least 50% of their time, on Agile and hybrid projects. So very applicable. It's been an amazing micro-credential as well that has been very well received. If you currently hold a PMP, obviously and looking to align with the new PMP Agile and hybrid approaches, this is definitely something that I would encourage you to participate in. If you just looking to gain the upskilling and demonstrate your hybrid expertise, great way to do that. And if you just want to study, I found that people who want additional study preparation for the new PMP are engaged in Agile hybrid to gain that micro-credential. And obviously, everybody who gains the micro-credential loves displaying their badge on LinkedIn. So we'd love for you to become part of those that have already gained that micro-credential. Similar, again, to the Citizen Development Series, it's all e-learning based. And there's an assessment with this particular micro-credential, much like the practitioner and the business architect micro-credential that I spoke of earlier. E-learning course takes about 6.5 to 12 hours to complete. I say loosely 6.5 because there are a tremendous amount of resources that are embedded within this course. It lives infinitely in your courses library, even after you've taken the course, and you can download the resources just like you can in citizen development. There's a download of the toolkit that you can use, all the assessment criteria, any of the suitability assessment, and any of the resources that are embedded within can be downloaded and used whenever. But that is a lot to get through. There's a lot of articles that are also embedded within Agile Hybrid Project Pro that help you understand better certain concepts, certain methods in hybrid, in Agile. It's all built in and resourced through that resources tab within the course. You gain 13 PDUs because it's very extensive. And again, applicable only towards your current certifications. Within the particular course itself, we did place some practice questions that you can, obviously they're embedded within the modules as well, but there's a 15-question practice test at the end just to become familiar with the format of the questions and test your knowledge. I keep hearing that it's a little more challenging even than the exam itself. So those of us with test anxiety, it's a rigorous course. I will say it's been very well received, but it will test your knowledge. And let's see, how do you gain access to this micro-credential? There is a landing page, and I also would love to share the chapter offer code that we do have available. Please take advantage. This is only for chapter members. So again, save this presentation. This discount code offers, it's exclusive to chapter members, a 25% off for Agile Hybrid Project Pro, available through December. And the member price currently is $175, non-member is $200. But you can go directly to the landing page and apply that discount code for your access to Agile Hybrid. And I think I have raced through this very quickly, but we are at the end of what I have to present. But I would love to hear more about some questions, and we can dive into some of the other slides about anybody who has either engaged with the micro-credentials or has questions in particular about Citizen Developer or about Agile Hybrid.
Thank you, Samantha, for your insightful presentation. And I think I personally learned a lot about micro-credential and the Citizen Developer Toolkit. I know there are questions. Do you want to share any more information since we still have time, or do we want to just open it up for a question and answer?
We can open it up and we can bounce back and forth. So yeah, I don't have any other slides to present. So.
All right. So anyone has any questions about how do you micro-credential?
Shwetal, this is Shamla here.
Yes.
Hi, Samantha, it's a good presentation. I have a question about the Agile Hybrid Pro. I know you talked about like I don't need to maintain the PDUs for this. Like once I get certified, like is this applicable for the Hybrid Pro as well?
Let me separate both. I think your question, and maybe I'm interpreting it a little bit differently. You have a PMI certification, say like you have your PMP,
right?
1 to 2 years ago, you can apply the PDUs gained by taking Agile Hybrid Project Pro to your PMP certification. But gaining, Agile Hybrid Project Pro by itself, you would not get those PDUs if you didn't have already a certification. Does that make sense?
Yes, the PDU part, I'm not concerned. My question is like, what if I get certified in Agile Hybrid Pro, right? So, and do I need to maintain any PDUs or anything to retain the certificates?
No. And I'll try and separate it a little bit. It's not a certification, so you don't need to maintain it. Once you've achieved that credential, it's yours. There's no maintenance. You don't need to maintain it with additional PDUs. It makes it so much easier. So it's upskill, it's yours, no need to maintain. You've gained that credential and that's it. You don't need to continually work to earn PDUs to maintain it. No.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
We have some questions for Samantha on a chat. So I'll go through in the order that we received. The first question, Samantha, is for you is, does the citizen developer course provide content on specific tool sets, or is it mostly theory?
That's a really good question. Mostly theory, because we're trying to be as vendor agnostic as possible. We're providing the framework. So we're providing the tools, the resources, the understanding of how you would structure your looking for your problem and solving it with the tools that we have, a suitability assessment and all the steps and the framework necessary to go through and assess, whether your problem can be solved with a low code, no code application. But no, we suggest vendor platforms, but it's not utilizing vendor platforms. We can suggest, but again, we're just providing the framework and the foundation for you to go and look for a tool that works best that you want to work with.
Thanks, Samantha. Next question we have is from Kristen. Can you provide some examples of projects that have been accomplished using the Citizen Developer Toolkit?
Honestly, I would refer you to go specifically out into the community. There are so many different resources. In fact, I visited and listened to a webinar the other day by TrackVia, one of our SME experts who's a project manager, works with PMI, works with TrackVia. They had a wonderful example of how citizen development helped them change and transform a part of their organization that just needed to be, moved along with technology and expedited as far as and solving problems because they needed to move faster and quicker. But citizen development and low code, no code helped them, but it's their particular business and user story. I believe we will have it placed up on our community, but there's so many stories that help with transformation, but I would definitely refer you again, like I had at the end of the citizen development piece in the presentation, there were some references there that I would encourage you to go look at and go to the community to look at other examples of how businesses are seeing that change take place and transform and through citizen development.
We have one more question. This is from Nick. Um, Demand for software developers is expected to continue to grow 22% through 2030. Is that prediction at odds with the demand for citizen developer, or is the demand expected to grow in a tandem for both functions?
Oh, that's such a great question. Again, when you do skills gap analysis, you're looking specifically at a specific area. So citizen development is that name, that we have branded and placed upon those change makers that will be out there and helping to create those opportunities. But it will grow in conjunction with one another. Again, it's kind of citizen development's been that name that's been placed on those IT change makers that will be there. I think somebody even said, it will grow definitely in tandem, but it will, they will create more of a movement around citizen development. So, there'll be more of citizen developers out there because of this, but no, it will grow in tandem is what I have understood from all of the research and skills gap analysis that has been put out there. And again, I encourage you to read Gartner, Forrester. They have completed a lot of these studies to see and assess, that movement and show where those statistics are as far as, the deficits that the industry is facing.
Great questions. Thank you, Samantha. I have one question that I like to ask. How do we want to, if you want to kind of help beta taste of the new products that PMI is thinking about or is in the future, how would one go about doing it?
Good question. I like that one. Our website in particular, if you go to citizen, it's pmi.org, and then citizen developer /citizen developer. I will put it in the chat if I can. Go to our website, because on that page, there is a registration. You can register and sign in and leave your details. That is how we're gathering a lot of our beta testers. A lot of people within different micro-credentials, as we've continued to source and look for people, will put that registration link or ask for your information directly on the product landing pages if they're looking to develop more and add more to the series. So always looking for beta testers. I would also encourage you to look on VRMS, volunteer recruitment, and look for the opportunities there, because we are starting to place opportunities again, more for focus groups and for opinions, looking for content experts as well for you to share your knowledge. But yes, there's surveys out there, and yes, there's opportunities for beta. Often we put them out there through VRMS. So looking for volunteers, look for the all call for beta testers there, but also on the landing pages specific to the micro-credentials, there'll usually be that registration opportunity. So I'd encourage you to sign in there. And you can also reach out to the micro-credentials. It's micro-credentials at pmi.org. Go ahead and reach out through that mailbox. That's a general mailbox for micro-credentials. That will be a good source as well for us to capture your information if you're interested in ever beta testing some of the other ongoing products that are being developed. And I also know for a fact that somebody has this very weekend placed a call for volunteers to be looking for your input and your feedback on new topics, on areas that we want to get your feedback on about what would be the next best micro-credential. Where do you see skills deficits, and what topics would be of interest for you for us to develop next? There is a call out right now in the VRMS portal, the volunteer portal, that's asking for volunteers to interview. So to have a specific interview to be able to get your opinions on new micro-credentials. So always looking in those areas. But yeah, please register, sign up, email us. We really need your feedback and really appreciate it and value those that have participated in beta so far. So thank you if you have been involved.
Thank you, Samantha. It's a good starting point to see if anyone is interested to, help out for the future beta product testing. Any other questions? You can put it on a chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask directly to Samantha.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't have access to the chat. I can see a lot of chat. I don't know if there are other questions.
No, those are the ones that I am seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
so I'm monitoring the chat, Samantha, on behalf of you.
Perfect.
So I saw the ones that I have already asked. All right, if there are no other questions, I guess we'll conclude early. This brings us to the conclusion of our session. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank our talented and insightful presenter, Samantha Mulford. As a token of appreciation, the chapter would like to present a certificate to you, and it will also be emailed to you as well. So thank you, Samantha, I know, for joining last minute and sharing all the details and how the starting point for, the hot or the new and upcoming topics for PMI. So we appreciate and thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And a couple of housekeeping reminders. Make sure to give us your feedback. It is very critical for planning for future symposium, for future events. So we put a link on a chat for this session feedback, and you can refer to program book for claiming PDUs for this session. The link to the PDU has been also, the link to the program book has also been posted as well. Another session, or we'll also post it on the lobby as well. So thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you in the next session at 2:30.